I'm here to speak about crisis management in social media, but first, after hearing all of you this morning and in the afternoon, I would like to maybe tell you a bit about how I feel about the difference between a small town and a big city. I come from a small town. I live in big cities. I live in Lisbon, Seattle, Barcelona, Berlin, all big cities. But to me, my small town is my Twitter list. That is my small town. My big city is my Twitter stream. And my small town is the hashtags that I follow. That's where my small town live. And my circles on Google Plus are also my small towns. And my online presence has no difference of my offline presence. I don't see any difference between being online or offline. The relationships that I establish with people, and I'm going to tell you a bit about it, when we are trying to do something to help people that we don't know, that we gain nothing from it, that becomes my small town, and that my village is in danger, and that can be a global village. I've been involved in activism for a long, long time, first locally, and then with the amazing power that technology gives us, we were able to do really brilliant things. I am a part of a group that is called Telecomics, and it's a group of guys based in Sweden. Some of them are members of the European Parliament because they are from the Pirate Party. I hate the name, I have to tell you. But the thing is that we try to use social media in a way that could engage people and that could save lives. One of the things that we were very involved in was when there were elections in Iran and people were getting killed on the streets. So what did we do? We had to come up with strategies to actually be able to put the voice of those people out. And one of the things that we observed was that lots of people on Twitter, what they were doing were they were tweeting to CNN and they were tweeting to NBC and they were tweeting to the accounts. These accounts that don't talk with anyone. You know, so what we had to do, we had to identify who were the people behind those accounts and say, hey, listen, I need to speak with you because I have someone here in Iran that is dying and they need to have their voice heard. So we had to identify who the real influencers were. And most of these people don't have any cloud score. Okay, so cloud scores don't mean a thing, really. I'm sorry. So then we had to, there are millions and millions of tweets going every day, at every second. So how do you create a strategy to make a certain message heard? When there was something in Venezuela, and as you can see, my small town is actually pretty big. In Venezuela, Chavez decided that they were going to cut radio stations that didn't allow him to speak for hours and hours and hours. And one of the radio shows that was very popular was a show that people could call in and that you could ask for a record and you could dedicate it to someone. So when that radio station was silenced, what we did was that we found out what the phone number from Chavez Palace was, and we decided to put on Twitter that phone number and ask everyone to call it via Skype and ask for a song, Freedom by George Michael. The phone was busy during 5 days. So these are the kind of things that you can do with social media, and you can do with Twitter. But you have to be aware that in order to do it, you can't have any barriers at that moment. One of the latest things that I got involved was when in Madeira there was a big flood and people were dying. The Portuguese government took almost 5 hours and a half to react, to have an official voice about what was going on, what phone numbers could you contact, to know if your family was missing, whatever. And a group of 3 strangers, people that didn't know each other, me and 2 other guys, we set up a website and a Twitter account, and we just picked up our phones and start calling people and saying, can you give me information about this? Can you give me information about that? And we had some people there that were giving us this information, and we were basically broadcasting it. So we were the first channel of information during 5 hours. When finally the government officials took over, we said, our work here is done. So how can we connect? How can we all connect to make this difference? I know that every small town or big city has its problems. The thing is that I think that people don't realize it, that when they live in a big city, they are still living in a small village. Because our neighborhood, the neighborhood where we live in, and the neighborhood where we work in, it's so small compared to the city that we all end up living in a village. There is no difference. The difference is that I take the subway to go somewhere, but that somewhere is still a part of my village. And we can connect with those people that live there and make the difference about a school, about public transportation, about a park that is being destroyed. And we can make this difference if we connect and if we focus. And this is I think that is the main problem, is that we put our differences on top of what connects us and what we have in common. And I don't care, I really don't care if someone that is extra religious supports the same cause as me, that I don't believe in God. You know, I don't care. What I care is that a park is going to be destroyed. So I have to connect with these people. We have to take our differences apart and make these connections to work. And these connections, from my experience, they work better online. When you follow a hashtag, you follow a subject that fascinates you, that interests you. You don't go and see if this person in another hashtag is defending something totally different from what your point of view is. But you know that you have that in common, and we should focus on that. There are too many important causes around the world, and in your village, in your city, there are too many causes that we can make a difference if we get together, and that we sometimes let fall apart because one likes Glee and the other one likes True Blood. This makes no sense at all. Really, you know, when we get in all of this, in all of these discussions about things that really don't matter, when we have the power today to make a difference, to save lives, to really make a difference inside our communities and in the world, we should just forget about the differences and make the right thing. Connect.